Welcome back to another day on the dashboard, and if you're new here, it is pretty simple. What we're discussing here is a dashboard that tells us the sentiment of the currency and the market at large using economic data releases. For those of you who have been here, or if you're new here and this is the first time watching, we have made 5 videos in total, 5 videos in total, where we talked about all the way from the news event page to the data cleanup page to everything involved, and it's a walkthrough. I've been walking people through it hand in hand, one after the other, all the way to the end. Now, we created this page the last time where we are able to now get the individual news for each currency. This is because we need these sets of news. We need it to only appear once when we start to calculate the actual value of a currency. And this page, in case you didn't notice, I didn't say this in the last video, this page is able to calculate for any currency you simply switch to. You can see automatically switches to every news related to that specific currency once you switch the currency name here. This is similar to what we're going to be applying in the individual currency pages, and you're going to see in this video we're working on 2 individual currency pages. Without further ado, let's head right into it. So the very first currency we're going to work on is the AUD, Australian dollar currency. Now, unlike my own worksheet, my own worksheet was created with my own personal interest in mind. I created everything directly underneath each other. In your own worksheet, we're going to create it at the side because that is way more easier. However, to do this, we're going to do it all together the way we usually do it before. We're going to start from the very easy part. And the very first thing you want to do is you want to take the word AUD. I can't find AUD anymore. That's a miracle. Think our formula shifted. Yes, our formula shifted, and to correct that, what you simply do is you go to the data page, you go to the data selection, and you make sure this whole selection, delete it, make sure it is from 2 to 9. And there it is. We can now select AUD again. So having AUD again, what we want to collect, what we really want to collect is the name filter, right? We're going to collect the name filter all the way to where it stops, right? Collect this and place it right here. But we're not going to put it in the A1. We're going to put it a little bit below. And there's a reason for that. Now, you don't want to paste its value, because that won't bring anything for you. So what you want to do is you want to copy and you want to paste as value. So that way you only get the exact words, nothing else. As you can see, the exact words. Mine is filtered. If I quickly clear filters, you see mine is filtered. So you've gotten the exact values. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to get the date of the last released news. Meaning commodity prices has been released every month. You want to get the exact date the last one was returned, like the last news was released. And to do that, this is why you shouldn't take news that do not have which the data has not been released yet. For example, things like this which we have at the very end. I would have loved to do NZD. I think we'll do NZD instead. I'll do AUD NZD, and you'll see what I mean. Collecting the news that doesn't have a release yet is a terrible idea for this calculator. Very, very terrible idea. And you're going to see it pretty soon. As you can see right here, it is calculating as +9 because it is reading it absolutely wrongly. That is the very first error you're going to notice. The next thing is, let's just head into the real deal work done. Now, to pull out the latest dates, you can see right here, I have a formula called max if. So it's bringing out the maximum situation if all the criteria are met. In this case, I'm just going to highlight the whole thing, and I'm just going to make sure one last situation is correct, right? I'm going to copy this name right here and put it here so that the table can read as a proper table in the same manner. So now I'm going to take this formula. I'm going to come in here and paste it and say enter. But it's going to ask me a lot of errors, a lot of stories and other stuff. So what we're going to do now is this. If I come back to this page, you would notice this is written as CUR dot currency dot. we're going to apply the formula together ourselves. So max ifs, is it max ifs or max if? Yeah, max ifs. So multiple conditions, not just one. So max ifs, you open brackets. What is the maximum range? What really is the maximum range we're looking at? Well, maximum range we're looking at is basically what we're saying is we're looking for the range where it's going to be looking at for the maximum numbers, which is A to A, right? That's where it's going to be looking for the maximum range. Now, the first criteria, the criteria range is that the currency name, which is this right here, right? Put the comma, it must be AUD. That's the very first condition, but that is not all the conditions. The second condition is, remember, we're looking for a specific news, this news, right? So we're going to go back to this input page. I'm going to go to the event name filter. So the event name filter must be the exact news we have here. And then you close the brackets and you're going to see 0 for the very first time. You're going to see 0. It's going to be shocking, right? But let's apply this all the way down. Now, doing this in this manner is going to take us through a lot of unnecessary stress. So I'm going to copy this and place it here and convert this into a table. Again, I like to make it tables, not because I just like to, but because it makes it easier when you enter the formula at the top. It automatically replicates itself down to the ending. Now, we have the formulas in check. Is our formula correct? Let's compare it against what we had in my own table. So I said, check out the dates, right? Check out the dates. Bring out the maximum date if the event name is equal to the selected event name here, and the currency is equals to the currency selected here. However, there is one situation which we forgot to account for. If you look here, these are not written as proper dates. If you notice, see the way it is written here on this end, it is written as January 1st, 2025, January 1st. It is literally seen it as text and not dates. Again, this is why I said data cleanup is supposed to be a different page, but you can do it on the same page if you want to. Now, what are we trying to do? We need to get dates. So say dates date value of this, accept the correction. And by the time you're done with this, you notice one big issue. So date value of this in the place it is a correct formula, but it is wrong because there's one error. The error is this. Because we put the date value formula in front of the if NA, it's not going to work properly. So we're supposed to put it immediately after the if NA. We'll call this date value. Open the bracket and select this text here. And then we'll say enter. Now you notice it opens as a date value. Then we can select the entire line, that is the column. And now we can actually convert this one to show as short dates. Or you could make it long dates, whichever one you prefer. It doesn't matter. However you want to do it, it's fine. Now what you will notice is the AUD page is able to return values automatically. So what do you do next? You simply come to the news page and you're going to copy the format. So format painter, I'm going to come here, I'm going to highlight this entire line, and what you see immediately is it starts to show as similar dates. So that way you've rectified this issue. The days away, I'll put that for a separate calculator. Yeah, we'll just put it down and leave it behind because we're going to come back there almost immediately. Now for the last thing here, this is surprisingly, you can see that there's a lot more things after this, right? After the days away. However, everything you're seeing here is the same miracle we performed on the filter page, whereby we only enter the formula on one line and we can see 2 lines of data. In this case, we're seeing we need to see more than 2 lines of data in this case. So what we're going to do here is pretty simple. We're doing the same formula but this time with much more nuance. And to do that, what we're going to do is I would love to just copy everything along the heading here. So all the way from impact, because obviously it's one single currency, so I don't need to know any other story here. All the way from impact to the end, we're going to copy it. Oh, I just keep closing this thing unknowingly. I'm going to copy it, come to this place and paste it here. Now we have a lot of story to write on. The very first thing we're going to do is filter. Filter. What are the conditions of the filter? Well, the condition of the filter is that the very first thing is the array it needs to look out for. The array we want it to look out for is the array we just copied from D all the way to Q, right? What is the watch out situation? The very first watch out situation is to make sure we open a bracket. That is it. Make sure you clean all of that, open a bracket, and you want to tell it the very first watch out situation is the currency. The currency must be equal to the text AUD. That is 1. You close the bracket. Unlike the other one, because we're having multiple conditions, this is how you write the multiple conditions in this filter formula. You close the first bracket and you write multiply. You open the bracket. So now you're giving it a secondary condition to look out for. It's supposed to bring out the news. Now, the next thing is it's going to look out for the dates if it is equal to, take note, this date. That's the second situation. But then again, that is not all. It is looking out for the currency name, the date. But if we just go like that, we're not going to get for commodity price. So to make it specific to commodity price, we're going to do and again, open bracket. We're going to select the event filter line and make sure it is equal to. We'll come back to AUD and select the event filter. That way we close the bracket and we have finally closed everything. So if empty, it returns empty. And at the time you press the enter button, unlike many other places where we've applied formula, on the table, right, on the table, you cannot apply such spill formulas. And take note, because you will no longer be editing these places. You don't need to actually make it a table because these places do not require edit. They have minimal edit, meaning very little reasons why you should ever want to edit these pages. So you don't actually need this as a table. The only reason why I put it as a table the first time is because I wanted it to spill all of this in the first place and also spill this. So to spill this immediately, what I just do is before I remove the table, we'll say equal to today, open and close the brackets minus the dates we're getting here. So that way, when I click on the equal to sign, it automatically drops down so many nonsense. Obviously, it's going to drop down dates because I've already conditioned this place to date. However, these are not dates. We don't want to see dates here. What we actually want to see here is how many days away, which is just numbers. So I'm going to convert this to numbers and take away the extra decimal places. The next thing I want to do is I want to remove this from entirely being a table by coming to table design and convert to range. So by the time you convert to range, it's going to ask you want to convert. You say yes, click on yes, and Excel is going to do a lot of recalculation here, and automatically, voila, miracles happen. We have lots and lots of details, both necessary and unnecessary. Like I said, necessary and unnecessary. So we only need necessary information. Necessary information is we don't care about impact, we don't care about column 1, 2, 3, we don't care about the what else? The event name. We already have the event name here, so why appear it twice? So things like this we want to delete from the situation, but we can't just delete them straight up by deleting the row, the column. So what we do is we create the formula again, choose colons, which is choose COLS, and then you go to the very end, open the bracket, go to the very end, hit on your comma. Now we don't want 1, so we won't write 1. We want 2. We don't want 3, 4, 5. We want 6. So 2, 6, 7, 8. We don't want 9. Mind you, this is where I'm counting from. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we want 9 actually. 9 is the difference. I think we took up a wrong number in the first place then. So if this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't want 3, 4, 5. We want 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't want 10. We want 11, 12, 13, 14. So 11, 12, 13, 14, close the bracket, and automatically you can see how it dealt with that situation very well. Again, I'm going to take out the unnecessary things by copy and pasting over them, and then all the way till points. So every other thing here is a lie. And then this one is something that you will just have to double click all the way down, or you drag down. You have to drag it down actually. You drag this one down. Now this is something that I want you guys to pay attention to. This is something that is very important. All of this is literally not important. You can delete this. Now this is where you have to pay tight attention to. If you continue in this manner, you will end up having to write the formula over and over and over again for each new currency. So in order for you not to constantly rewrite this formula for each new currency, I'll simply do this. I'll write the word AUD at the top right here, meaning Australian dollar, right? Everywhere I had written the name AUD, I would convert it to selecting this particular row. And this time I'll put a dollar sign just before the A and just before the 2. So $A, $2, and I'll go to the next place. If I had AUD selected, if I had written AUD at all, I'd simply do that. Or you could use the F4 key. If your F4 key is directly, you could do it, or you use function, or you function lock the F keys and you click on F4 once. You see, automatically it gives you that sign itself. So don't forget to drag this downwards again. Do not forget that. Now, the last part of the equation, the last part of the situation is that you would keep finding this, it's not applying properly. Mine is still recalculating the entire situation. So give it some time. You'd see it's still showing me calculation here. Take a good look at it. Good, now it's done. Now you keep seeing this spill. What does this spill actually mean? Well, this spill means that this particular news has 2 types of news underneath it, or 3 or 4, depending on what it is. So what you do is you simply go directly under the spill, you press it, you right click and you click on enter, you say enter entire row. By the time you click on enter entire row, if it was just one single news left over, automatically you're going to see it like this. So you have month over month and quarter over quarter coming on at the same day, on the same day. So for situations like this, in order for you not to unnecessarily stress yourself, what you could do is you could say the same formula we applied right from day one, right? The very first formula we applied here, where if the date where we applied, when we applied the formula, only the first one was showing, we needed to repeat that one until it gets to see changes. So that's what we're doing right here. We'll simply say, now, if you drag down like this, what you're going to notice is this is going to tell you wrong date, right? So what you're going to say is if open bracket and you say equal to 0. Now the first time was if error, if any, but this time is equal to 0. You say return the one directly above. So that way it returns this one directly above. And then what you can also do is to reapply this formula all the way to the bottom. What happens is it starts to recalculate based on the new dates it's seen. So again, we're going to do this for all the spill spaces. I'm going to do it in a speedy method. That way you can see it. Now in this case, it's going to lag your PC. It will most likely lag your PC, but this is the only time it will lag your PC. After this, you would not see PC lags. Trust me, you will not get PC lags. Now, like a situation like this one where you're seeing it's still showing me empties, not because it is empty, but because my PC is still recalculating this formula properly. That's what's happening right here. It is not as if it just felt like, you know, leaving the space empty and all that stuff. No, the PC is still recalculating properly. And by the time it is done recalculating, you'd see those rows will be filled with the right data that's supposed to be there. Automatically, you see that? That is it. So now you can pull this very formula and you can take this formula all the way back up make sure it starts from the top. Oh, that was an error. I'm going to take it and put it here. So another thing you notice is because I use the if formula, it automatically misbehaving. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take out this if formula and we're going to turn it into a let formula. So let's original formula. So we'll just call this real, right? The max if formula will be real, which is the real formula that is supposed to, carry out properly the first time. And then we're turning that whole word to real, right? Real. So if real is equal to 0, comma, it should bring up the thing directly above. If not, it should just return real. And that way we have shortened a lot of story we're supposed to write. By the time you take it up, it doesn't cause any error. By the time you take it down also, it doesn't cause any error. Same thing with this one. You don't even need to apply any new formula here. You just want this to repeat itself all the way down. So right there, we have everything that has to do with the Australian dollar currency right up, purely showing on its own. The only thing left now is the dashboard. Now, this is somehow the longest video we've had since the beginning. It is absolutely outstanding how this video became so long. Turns out that this is one of the work that requires more, should I call it, headroom. So I'm going to cut this into 2 parts. I'm going to tell you thank you for watching this part. The next part, what we're going to talk about is creating this header dashboards you see here, but in your case we'll be creating it on the side. So see you all in that video. It should be very short and straight to the point. Peace. Catch you all later.